I very much enjoyed James Gunn's comic book work. I say comic book work, that sounds really weird. I like his Guardians. I love his Guardians trilogy. Sorry, I love his Suicide Squad film. I didn't particularly care for Super back in the day, but it hasn't dissuaded anything from the last 10 years for me as a writer. Obviously, I'm looking at stuff like Scudo Group, so I've really liked James Gunn as a writer, and more importantly than stuff like that, he knows his source material that he writes from. I think for Guardians, if you look at that, Guardians doesn't work. Phase 2 and 3 can't work for Marvel, so you've got to look at what he's been able to do whilst being, in the Marvel system. And so much of his work is what then bled into the big Avengers films. It can't work if he didn't set some of that up himself with the space side of things. And people have got to really get back to 2014 that Guardians of the Galaxy was a humongous risk. No one knew if it'd work. No one had really heard of them. They were characters set in space. Marvel hadn't really done that yet. Obviously, Thor was, as Guardian, completely different. But he made the Guardians household, and they're loved and cherished. He then went off and did Suicide Squad, which I adore. I think is an incredible film, one of my favourite ever comic book films, let alone DCEU. And obviously the fact that he righted the horrific wrong of 2016. So I'm a big fan of that. I've enjoyed Peacemaker with John Cena, and I'm excited for season 2 to come back. So I was really excited for him to be announced to do Superman, because I'd never associated James Gunn to Superman. He kind of felt like, because he'd done these weird side characters, Suicide Squad, Guardians, the big leagues, the major characters, it hadn't felt like a discussion could or had took place that. So when it was announced he would do Superman, he'd be front of DC, I was sat there like, you know what? I think he's earned it. I think he's earned the right to give this a go. And that's been the selling point for me.